Hello, Blonde folks. Welcome and welcome back to epistemic-gnomes. I was a little busy last day, so I couldn't continue doing every day, but now we're back. We're gonna do this in the weekend. Right now I have 2 hours to do this. Maybe later today I'll continue. And there's a lot of stuff to do. Of course, one point, there are three topics, right? So one of them, of course, is the compositing, right? This style here that we are doing, and we have made some findings how to set the materials, right, to help in providing the good accuracy for certain patterns. For example, for the skin of the main character, the skin of characters, of course, we need something like emission shaders. Otherwise, just a single emission shader, right? With the texture image, yeah, it probably can help some details that might disappear for the most part, but maybe it appears occasionally. I need to find out how to make this image texture to show more in the compositor, but then anyways we need a emission shader or something like that to have the skin let's say detach itself from the skin surface, right? Whether the character has a darker or lighter skin, it is important to detach the skin, which is an important feature for the the composition, right? Detach the skin from other stuff. So for example, these are emissions, so they show very intensely, and so they avoid certain amount of pixelated pointillism, right? So of course here is not the final render. Let's for example render this. It's not absolutely accurate, right? But this is because of my EV, right? So this is more accurate. So you see less pointillism on the face, and this will help us. Yeah, so there are a lot of things. All these materials I have to start reworking to fit in the scenery. There are a lot of approaches I've seen. We can also use in the compositor. We can use, I'm not using this, but to mimic paper fiber, we could use some sort of overlay. Why we don't try it right now? Yeah, I've seen that. I wasn't counting on that. I think it's a bit too artificial, but it gets the job done, right? It's like instead of a film grain, this one, which maybe it's a bit crude, right? Too crude, right? Yeah, I see. It also looks good like that. There is pointillism anyways that occurs on occasions, right? We got, yeah, there's some interesting parts. So maybe this is overdoing, right? This noise. We can reduce it very much by adjusting this thing. So let's see, for example, here is almost disappeared, right? And I need to see in the details, right? Yeah, you see, so this is too much, right? Maybe it's not very good. Yeah, it's everywhere, right? So if you want something everywhere, it's hard to control. We would need something more maybe it's because of this multiply. Yeah, so I've been learning some slight theory about this thing. So basically screen maybe will no so never mind. So interesting rocky effect, but no, totally garbage, right? It's not what we need. Yeah, so maybe a very slight screen maybe could work. Nah, man, how are you doing? Hello, bro. Medox, welcome back. Yeah, I'm doing fine. So good improvements here in all this. I have hopes that this will be going very well soon. but there is a lot of stuff to do. So this is a continuous ongoing progress. Hope you're doing fine as well. And so I need to start writing the narrative, designing. I need some drawing, concept art. I need to be doing some development work, right? Not only just Blender, but paper, sketching, roughing stuff, doodling. Yeah, this is actually the theory was not incorrect. So we can add, instead of the multiply here, if you add this screen but a very low factor, then we can start getting the pointillism in a way more controlled, not as pervasive, right? Yeah, it's a better effect actually. Well, it depends on what on the, I guess it depends on the shot. So here the frame, right? So here is really, so the overlay. Okay, so apparently what I've seen from a tutorial where some guy was explaining that the multiply is it darkens from the dark. I don't know. It's something about affects more, and this is the opposite. It affects more the everything will, something about the range, right? So this has something to do more with the what is already on one part of the spectrum, extremity, blacks or whites, right? And here is the opposite. An overlay is like in between, like it will push or drag it, drag this both dark and bright. So this will be a more equilibrated stuff. For me, overlay always looked like multiply, but yeah, multiply. What are you working on? Is it an image render or an animation? It's a 3D web. Well, so it's a multifaceted project because it's 3D and there's a lot of reusability. So this one, this aesthetics here that I'm trying to build here, specifically this is not for 3D animation, this is for 3D webcomics. And so this is, but the character rig, the rigged model, Dorothy, this rigged template, is going to be for 3D webcomics and 3D animation at some point. Even sci-fi fantasy, which is actually this 3D webcomics is sci-fi fantasy, and but I also want to use this for fantasy, sci-fi, right? Not sci-fi, fantasy, sci-fi. And but there's another parallel universe or another setting which is fantasy, and so this is the. So I'm gonna, and also I'm making the rigged model template, so I can do for all my characters the same. I can reuse this. I want to get this ready to be shared as an armature object, right? So with all the, like something like a meta rig, you know. So it will be a public meta rig, and then I also want to use it to sell rigged models with models, right? Stylized characters like these ones, but not on my cast of characters. So not Dorothy, but selling other characters that are made on my style but are made for selling. But I still want to distribute on my Gumroad, for example, for free the armature object with this rig template, with all the features that I've been developing, like as a personal research of rigging for 3D animation in Blender. So that's why a rig template. I'm considering there are many approaches, but one of them would involve some really a meta rig, or like a Rigify meta rig, that you push a button, you right, it generates right. But this is a next step. At the moment, what I can do is complete the rig and share it, yeah, as it is. But yeah, we need more improvements on that. There are many things that I've been, yeah, so this is a long-term thing, but now I'm getting very, very close to getting a good thing. Yeah, so I think this overlay, something about here, right, the overlay, this is very nice, right? So you see, you do one thing, and if it's strategically done, if you have a strategy, it can serve multiple purpose. That's very interesting. So this is like can think like a brand, right? I'm not sure this overlay is doing exactly what I want, but the effects on the hair here are really cool, I think. Okay, here not so much, but I'm considering also having improving the material for the hair. All right, so this is an interesting thing, overlay. Okay, so I've made some turns. Nice. So you will need another character similar to this card, so you won't need to adjust the rig. Exactly. Well, you actually, the rig needs to be adjusted because all my characters, they don't have the same face, the same eyes. So yeah, it's similar, it's the same style, but you cannot just copy paste, right? Well, it can, maybe the topology can be the same for the most part. No, but some characters have very different eyes, and maybe the mouth can be the same, the muzzle, the lower face, the ear, but certainly not the hair and the eyes. Yeah, the eyes, probably there will be a lot of change, and of course the costume. And for usually for the body can be the same for the most part, unless there's a character which is anthropomorphic, no, which is animal morphic, and then maybe has some, yeah, like a furry, and those will need slightly different topologies, but essentially most of them are like this. So, but we cannot just reuse, and the rig needs to have this adaptation. Without meta rig, without Rigify or some add-on like that, unfortunately, rigging, even if the characters are very similar, the proportions, you have to adjust everything. And if there's bendy bones, stretch to bend constraints, it's super annoying. You have to, yeah, it's feasible. It's better than making a whole custom rig from scratch. No, you just duplicate the armature object and start to tweak it. But the meta rig, generate rig of Rigify and regenerate rig, right? The meta rig is like a big stuff, because then you can just right, you have a lot of characters. I have 20 characters, about 20 characters of this staff, this cast, and so and now in each of them I need to adjust the bones, right? So if I had if I'm able to get my custom rig to work to generate those skeletons, right, all the features already in the adjusted proportions that we do manually on the meta rig, I don't have to adjust then everything on pose mode later on, so it will be super economic. But this is like a bit more tricky, because currently Rigify is not very customizable. It's very tough. You need to scripting, right, to do Python scripting, and I'm onto it. I have a different approach, and I'm learning. I'm trying to learn these new skills, and I think it is feasible. It is a question of maybe a few weeks, yeah, maybe months, I don't know. but in order to find out if I able to do this or not, then it's a question probably of a few weeks. All right, folks. So here, this is there's running there's having the Blender conference. So very interesting stuff going on. Some always the conference on rigging interests me. Also the ones on storytelling. There are some guys making actually compositing rendering, stylized rendering also interests me. So there's a lot of people, several conferences in the topics that I like this time. Okay, so yeah, like Rigify, exactly. So we are gonna, I want to be doing a little of everything here, but maybe we won't have time in the 2 hours. I have to return later today. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the rig now, because just here is the reference of this inspiration, right, for this kind of, I'm trying to see if this can become some sort of deck, and indeed, but I've realized that maybe the deck there is much more, the bridge is much larger than what I've done achieved here, so maybe I need to improve it. We're gonna also, I'm gonna delete those things. I'm not satisfied. It I don't like also the part in that reference that it seems to be too clustered, right? So not enough space for walking, and it's not very cozy because of that. So we're gonna try to do something different here. So extrude here. Let's subdivide. FF. No, not like that. Alright, so here we got this, and here we're gonna extrude here. No, not like this. Apparently this is wrong. Okay, so we can, for example, pick this stuff here, and we're gonna... Okay, maybe I expand I scale the objects from the 3D cursor. Let's see the effects here, right? But if you... Okay, let's test some stuff here. Not bad. But no, let's not make it too high, right? Because then it start to become a bit overwhelming, right? Not very cozy. So something in between, yeah. Not as high as it were, but a little higher. Something like this. Yeah, something like this. Let's see. This portal also doesn't need to be that high. Let's try. No, it's cool, the portal being high. Yeah, so. Okay, let's try this, and yeah, we can apply all transforms. Okay. Huh, yeah, this looks good, but then we gonna scale. Let's try some crazy stuff here. Interesting, right? Elongated like that, not that wide. But yeah, a bit claustrophobic then. This reminds me the area of Dorothy Lounge, right? But no. Yeah, no, not this. Although it's good for like a command center, right? Not with this stuff here, but the entrance. So it looks like gonna push this forward. Yeah, okay, we got an interesting area here. We're gonna change this. Yeah, I think this is a bit uninteresting. We're gonna pick this stuff and much better. It's sort of like I start to see some sort of, yeah. So you see what I'm trying to do? Maybe I'm trying to get this idea here of this openness. Have another reference like this, but yeah, I'm trying to mix this openness here with the idea of bridge that not necessarily circular like that, but that has let's say, let's return here, which has you know the decks from the bridge from the I have some collections here, let's see. Sci-fi, okay, from what's the name of this? These 3D models, scenery for Star Trek, right? They've been making a lot, lots of very cool stuff, but at some point it starts to get boring. That I must admit, right? It's always the same idea. Now there are cool variations, very creative, but at some point, of course, you want something. Start to get something more original, right? So this the stuff that I'm getting are quite original, but yeah, so for example, yeah, not circular like that, but let's try to find something. No, not this. I have too much junk here. I thought I had a bridge. Okay, anyway, we can, yeah, something like this, but no, this is ugly for what I'm trying to look for. Yeah, it's on, but it's very far from the. Okay, this is more traditional, right? Some are the same, they are just have on different angles, right? So for a long time I've been visiting this, yeah, so very super traditional, right? And but now I'm trying to do something. Oh, there, this one seems very nice. Yeah, so I'm trying to get something like yeah, so. And the problem, of course, there are some contradictions, right? Because there the things are enclosed, right? And this is open. So how you merge these concepts, right? So this is the creative part. So I think the designing part, I believe it's very abstract right now, but there might be some way to be doing that. And so possibly what I need to do, I need to keep expanding this stuff outside to give this idea of openness. And here this is of course very bad. Let's Maybe I should simplify this mesh, right? Yeah, let's simplify this for now, because it's terrible. Probably should disconnect these things. Yeah, this is just causing nightmarish problems with the topology. So, yeah, best way is... Yeah, I know I'm gonna cut this. I have this bad habit, not bad, but I have this because I do a lot of topology for characters, then mesh topology, then for scenery we don't need all these. This is different, right? Yeah, so one big problem is what to do. Maybe I need to take this thing out. They are interfering. Let's separate this one. Like it's no more protected, right? Here in the front we can also yeah, so immediately this looks like wider. We don't need this stuff here, it's terrible. Let's remake some of this structure here so we can... Oh, I'm getting some idea. Yeah, so these are some ideas from other decks bridge that I was doing. So here I think we're onto something that can be very interesting. Yeah, you can keep this. No, let's use this one. Let's use the camera, just this. Hopefully I have this thing here, so very easy. Rotate 90. I'm starting to get an interesting concept. Yeah. So we're gonna make a Haha! So I could show if I could find in this creepy Pinterest. It's very good to find good stuff, but it's very hard to organize. It's very bad for organization, I think. So here we need to. So there'll be a lower floor, right? And this has the potential to be very, not very super high, right? But we can make interesting propositions with that. Yeah, no, not like that. So you have different floors here. So if I have the character here, that you can make some stairs somewhere. Here, for example, it's yeah, no, this is a bad one. So the interesting here, okay, you have a higher deck that maybe it's the yeah, I'm getting somewhere. Remembers me, so we're deconstructing, right, the original thing, but I still want to have this vibe of openness, right? But we'll achieve it, yeah, so it will be, the trick here is that we'll make these things open, or it will be glass, but it will always be like, yeah, it gives this effect of how do you say when you are about to fall, fear of falling, fear of heights, so we got yeah, so we got this stuff. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. So I've already tried to make some different decks like that, but never open like this. So this is like a good combination. What I want here is perhaps to change the structure of the higher one. We are gonna move this stuff here. Actually, we want this thing. I'm not sure for the back part what I'm gonna do here, so probably this could be cancelled, or there could be walls. So here I'm not sure what will be for that part. Maybe I just delete for now. Have this next thing, a next this is difficult to map. Let's just give it another. Yeah, a bit crude here, not very good. But then what we do here is that we can, yeah, bring this forward. This maybe we advance. Or actually we need to, here is what matters. I was trying to I'm gonna pull this back. We actually don't need exactly all this stuff here. Yeah, this part may be a bit too. Yeah, let's simplify it. Yeah, there's problem with the geometry here. Stuff going a bit crazy. So, yeah, so you have here like a higher deck. So maybe you have some folks here that work in like there's some anime that just in my mind, some bridge of some Nadeshiko, I think Nadeshiko, there is something like that, but it's much higher. There are some commanders there, and but then the lower deck here. Yeah, so I see the questions where we're gonna put the stairs here. We could have stairs like exactly here, for example. Not necessarily with these shapes, of course, but we could obtain a curvature here. There's more from the sides, yeah. And here on the sides it's very different, so you have other things going on. And then we maintain that idea there, and there are many other. So that will take some time to figure out what is most interesting, what we can do with all that. Currently, it's quite open, but yeah. So it's certain that I want to maintain the openness. That I want this upper bridge, upper deck here, and there's a lower deck. Not sure if this stair will be here. And then we gonna for what's happened behind, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have walls, just walls here, or not. Maybe it will be open like that. It could be a bit strange, right? Yeah. So I believe here we need. Need to define something like this first. Actually, let's do this from the perspective of this thing here. Yeah, I know what I do with this. Let's just transform this whole thing into a single thing here. Gonna use the skin modifier, but we're gonna make it a large. It's a good fake geometry nodes alternative to get. No, not geometry. Yeah, so it's very messy right now because it's right this base mesh, right? I'm trying to figure out the proportions, all that. Then I can work on this later. Yeah, and also this is very wrong, right? Separate this ceiling stuff from these ones. And then we can better see what we do with this one. If it could be higher, which is cool, but well, could be versatile, right? But or lower, or higher and lower, right? It could be higher in one part, and from here it could be, yeah. So this part suddenly feels right now a bit too small. Yeah, I got the wrong proportions right now, so have to figure out this the entrance. So if it's central or not, it is also matters. They'll make a new building for that. Yeah, no, unsure here. Okay, indeed. So a lot of things here to do with more attention. I need some assets here to some. I want to some desks here, some panels, some place for some kind of control, small control station here. This could be very interesting, but we need something else. Yeah. So gonna return now for rigging. Let's just take a what we got from here. Yeah, it's a good start or restart. Floating asset here. Yeah, like I'm not using this, so just delete. This one also is not working anymore. Have to decide what to do with it. Yeah, it is not for this, but we can use it as a temporary idea here. Starphones think the internet, my internet failed. I have to close everything. Let's see if I can resume. Yeah, I have more time than it was expected. So let's fix this. I think it's very bizarre. You can't even close the stream when the internet falls like that. So the stream continued, but no, it was locked for a while. Let's see. No, it's not this. It is here. All right. Okay, I can't find the page. Can't make sure. Yes, here. So, sorry folks, let's resume here. I don't know when exactly the internet stopped, so I was making this not to be in the front because it will cover the view. It's not super interesting. So we're gonna try to do something. Yeah, this actually needs some symmetrization on its own, and then we get some symmetrization based on the object bridge, whatever. So I could have two of them, right? Something like that. But yeah, this is just a concept thing. Or what can you get? Yeah, anything that comes in the center that will not work, right? So try to think if there's, unless there was. Oh yes. So there is one way. So if we make exactly, so there is one way. So if we get this thing to be the soundtrack is not allowed. It's Ghost in the Shell from FX Twin, but I think I cannot be playing this, so let's return to the basics. Yeah, so here we can get a larger panels here for a control station, right? For a commander, right? Why it's not symmetrizing? Of course, we need the yeah. So now, yes, we can probably dissolve some stuff here and Okay, she doesn't want to snap. Whatever. Okay, so in this way you can get this command thing exactly in front, and then I know some places in college, universities with presentation, right? You have these auditoriums, and then you have lots of place to sit, right? The public, and then you have an area like for the sound or the volume, some mixing stuff that is at least there is some place like that in the university here. That's interesting. Got my attention. And so here we'll have to, yeah, of course this may be a bit too high, but this one particularly, it's actually interesting if it's that high. Yeah, this gives, but it maybe it's not need that high, so I'm gonna try to yeah, so it was here. Let's try this. Then we get, I don't know what's happening to the snapping of the character here. It's just broken. It's not snapping correctly. Yeah, we could have different levels of stairs, like we could have stairs that pass here on the side, so the topology here will be, or maybe this is accessible by some door. Yeah, not even a stair, but stair is cool, right? We could have like I can have a level here. And then from here, maybe here, or just here. Yeah, nothing much to do here. Let's leave it like that. There's the chat. The amount of space here, is this fine? much space for. Yeah, now this is very, very big, but it still has good properties. Starting not to be that cozy. It's cool, but I always must pay attention about these extrapolations of scale, right? Yes, we are going far beyond. I have to be careful. Okay, folks, so here I think we got some interesting visions here, but it's time to return to the character. Oh, yeah, and yeah, let's get let's check some. Okay, so we're getting some interesting stuff already, even with the crappy materials that are not built for this. So we're gonna access the rig now, because it's fundamental that we keep building that. So we have to go to the edit. Actually, it's not here, it's on object mode. We're gonna edit. There's an add-on, an extension, right? Free, just have to access it. So let's revise some stuff here. Let me show what's going on here for this character. Basically, we have the I've made a tweak here in the skeleton. So this is the master puppeteering skeleton for 3D animation in Blender. So that, what does that mean? It means that we have some Aikibon constraint setups, right, on the limbs, right? Those are the hands, feet, and head. But the head is on demand. This is the best I could achieve in the current state of Blender rigging, vanilla Blender. Well, maybe some add-ons, but not add-on for this. So this means that I can grab the blue skeleton and combine with some sort of auto key option, which allows to, for example, do this thing, right? So I say, and more than that, we can have same for the feet and the leg, and I can do stuff like that, and the head can be pinned also. From the perspective of the pin head. However, yeah, we need to I was having a little trouble with the okay, the torso is okay, so I see. Yeah, so this is inverse kinematics with the Ike head. So you see the head is pinned. We can still manipulate this with it's sort of a limited way, but right, and then we can do can also do a partial Ike pinning, so the head should be moving slightly. So if you want, I don't know why exactly. Yeah, I know how this could be useful, but okay. So in principle, so this works. So it's just that the spine, I'm struggling to visualize if it needs to be straight or maybe it's too bent in the rest position. Maybe we can make it a little straighter. That would be beneficial for posing, but not so much for the deform rig. Yeah, so I don't want to offset the deform rig from this, so there's neither the nor the mechanism rig. Then of course then we have this kind of setup. So I've deleted one bone, so I've simplified the method here. We have this bone which is useless. Actually it's just a connector that we don't pose, but we can pose actually. This is like a sort of a caveat. We need to solve. It's a caveat solver. It's like a it's because of the IK bone constraint of the head. If I use the typical without that, right, the typical IK from the head here, there is some sort of auto IK length that will be. So here is moving very well. Here is moving very well. You see that we have this lowest spine there. We are even moving, right? But then if I go another one, the same length of the IK chain, then my motion is sort of locked. So this is locked because I've created exactly this bone to be the end, the IK chain of that IK bone constraint. It keeps interfering with the rig even when it is disabled, just because it exists. So that's how bad IK bone constraint is in Blender currently. So yeah, so it creates this. It's not a glitch. It's really an inconsistency. So it's a conflict. I'm trying to use auto IK option on top of a same skeleton that is affected by a disabled IK bone constraint, but we don't use this auto IK length because this is exactly to be on the calculated control IK head locked solver. So basically we don't need to face this problem. We just don't use this auto IK length. We can go beyond it or above it. Above it we have all you need here, and beyond it we get the whole control rig, right? The whole skeleton is then, and we can of course grab a hand, grab both hands. We can do this as I've shown already. We can do this with the and this is because the skeleton is connected, but because of this setup, this bone sometimes it needs to be reset. Otherwise there's some offsetting which can occur. So it's on the control. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect it doesn't affect the directly, at least. Yeah, it's not a problem for the deforms. It's a problem for we just need to reset it with the rig. So this will be like doing its job, right? The hip sway. Here the deforms are very bad for other reasons, so oh yeah, you see the emission shader, what it is doing here on EV. Side is so bright. Okay, so this is so what is happening is that the chain goes like this. So this is the spine. No, it's not this. There's a bone here, yeah. So the control hips is here. So this one is the beginning of the spine. This goes down, but it is connected to this one, which is exactly Oh, it's badly positioned. No, this is just the... Yeah, exactly. So this is that IK solver thing. And there is there's also something interesting. There is a handle for this bendy bone and the deform that will be exactly here. It is, you'll see that we don't see, it's a bone like this, but it's underneath. Handle coccyx, yeah, it's this one. So basically it is following this one, so we can affect the curvature here. So this is not a perfect thing, you have to offset, but this works like we have command of this whole spine and then command of the whole hips, and it's like the mechanism, the deformed bone here, there's just one. It is trying for it at its best to follow both of them. So it's always somewhere. There's one, right? It's always, and this one, they are always trying to follow an intermediate level. So in this way I can combine the the hip sway with this skeleton, and it's very specific problem, right? So I simplified this because I had 2 bones of this, yeah. Anyways, this is a bit too complicated to explain now. Yeah, even I wouldn't be understand. Okay, so then we're gonna look for the face rig now, because there are some very important things that I need to be doing and decisions that I've been making. I have a version here where I try to clean up the face. So I halved lots of subdivisions, because with the subdivision surface modifier we get enough smoothness. Maybe we can clean up some mesh even here on the, yeah. So I was thinking of this, but this will be the last thing one of the last things I do, if I'll do. So here there are lots of division, maybe these legs a little. We're going to, yeah, see how much geometry you have here. Maybe there's overload of geometry here, and this is not maybe just not necessary actually for the cartoony deforms that I want. Even the mouth, the lips, I'm considering maybe we don't need one edge loop here. These ones possibly I want, yes, but maybe this one is it's not needed. Same here, right? So then we have to reposition them. Yeah, so a lot of questions here. So here I've tried to dissolve many things here, but for now I'm gonna leave it as it is now. And these bricks, the shape keys, this the texture is horrible be doing this change, so I'll do later if when I have the possibility of making good expressions as I want here, as I'd like to have, then I'll try to make this. Okay, can I get the similar good expression on a lower mesh geometry density? And if yes, then yes, let's dissolve this this stuff, right? Let's not have as much geometry here. So I've joined the hairs here. Wait, I didn't. Okay, so these will be asymmetric hair. And you're gonna go here for the hair. Just call it hair asymmetric. And this we're gonna call from the scalp hair symmetric, because this has mirror modifier. All of them had the same. Don't think they had any difference in the modifiers. I think it's all the same thing. Yeah. Then we are going to address now the very critical problem that I've made, that I had with the, still trying to fix the rig of this, but here's my mistake when I was doing the so it's a problem with eyebrows and face. So here is a stupid thing that I've done. Not stupid, but very questionable choice. I wanted to have the control for this part, but often this is not necessary. We don't need to control this part, at least not in many character designs. We can just use the waves from, for example, here to, or some other helper. We don't need the B-bone spline. We can have even as all looping around, but this doesn't. It's sort of a rigid thing out in this character design. Usually, it's a bony structures. So I don't the temples and this area here, right between the eyes. So it's like here it needs to deform well, but here it will. So this is the problem here, is that this is a Nike chain for a Nike bone constraint of the orbicularis oculi, which is just doing well all around muscles, alright. But the problem is that the eyebrow is only here, while the orbicularis oculi on the top is doing this in terms of bone structure, and that makes that I cannot control. I cannot stack this Ike chain for both this region of orbicularis oculi and with the eyebrow. So it forced me to make two Ike chains, as you can see here, one for the eye hole and one for the. But this is completely stupid, because I can. We don't need this thing here, all these things, so I can move this. It's not even practical. A lot of things can go wrong here, so you can just exchange these bones for waves, right? So instead of have this plan, maybe wave paint the brow, not the eyebrow. We would extrapolate some waves here a little, maybe. In the worst case scenario, we use some helper bones here with some automations, but I think we don't need. So probably this is very stupid, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna clean this up. We're gonna actually move all these. So first thing is that I'm gonna go for this setup here of the eyebrow, and gonna delete this Ike chain here for the eyebrow, because we don't need this you see, master Ike eyebrow in, master Ike eyebrow out. No, we won't do that. We're gonna simplify. So that means that, yeah, deleting with this. So oh yeah, more here, so we don't want this. Is also part of the Ike, so I don't chain. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna stack. The brow will move the eyebrow, but especially there will just be one mechanism Ike chain, and it will be for the brow, the mesh, right, of the face, the forehead, right, this region here. So what we're gonna do is that we're going to we could, I've seen some riggers, maybe this is a bit old school, but we could make this thing as a, yeah, so this I'm trying to use this, see if that works. I want to see if I can make some fronting with more geometry density here. In many cartoony rigs it's just more mesh here. That seems that it should work, but I never tried that too much, so we're gonna see if that works or if you need another strategy here. This is a simplification. So now that I've deleted this stuff, I need to bring back the face, right? The brow. We're gonna make some changes here. So we're gonna delete this one. Yeah, this bendy bone we don't need. We'll be lacking some waves here, but that's fine. Yeah, eye hole. Yes, delete this. Gonna delete this mechanism. We're gonna don't need this handle as well. So this one we'll need, but we're gonna relocate them. This one is no needed, it's accident, but this one is not accident. So this one we don't need the eyebrow here. I'm gonna place it here, so this will be still the same name, right? So I have the Ike Master. Okay, so this moves brow and eyebrow through Ike inverse kinematics, right? The Ike bone constraint, although we could also pose, but we need to change here some features. First, this Ike chain now is just chain length of 2. Yeah, chain length of 2. So yes, now this is working. This is also working. We're gonna remake some parenting here. What is this main eye? Okay, so this is an automator, it doesn't matter. This is parented to the tweak key I hold top tweak key. No, the name is tweak key. Yeah, I know tweak. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick all these ones, right? Alright, so I'm gonna check here. So this name seems incorrect. We're gonna simplify this all. Actually, we can do a batch here. Just a strip character here. No, didn't work. Okay, so okay, it worked, but they got messed up, right? Unfortunately, so this will be... Yeah, it's all messed up. Okay, let's get this one. This is done. Yeah, this one's good. This one's good. This one is good, right? So, parenting, mechanism I key. Yeah, so this is indeed the mechanism I key. I hold top, but the name is bad, so we're gonna change here. This one we're gonna change here. Okay, and then same here because yeah. Done. So these are solved. Same here. I think we're gonna destroy this. I think this is a unnecessary according to this new proposition. So we're gonna delete these bones, the handle, yeah, this control, this handle, this bone, and this one, and then we're gonna bring this one here and this one also there. Change the I keychain here to chain length of 2. Let's also symmetrize those ones because they have different bone constraints now. Yeah, so slightly different setup. Okay, so now this controls the brow from exactly where the beginning of the eyebrow is, or the inner eyebrow. And so here same thing. Okay, ignore the glitching there. It is because we need to solve these artifacts. So I have a new proposition, a new strategy for eyebrow. We're gonna use a test. We're gonna test. We're gonna make a yeah, we're gonna use the technique here of the anatomic. Never tried that. So we're gonna make an anatomic so in order to do this we need to recreate yeah, so we're gonna, we need an eyebrow. Should be a new shape from mix, and this will be where we're gonna okay, I'm gonna snap those things. First of all, but then we're gonna all right, so the shape key, the editing the mesh